Ever had someone say, "Oh no, it's fine, do whatever you want," but somehow you knew it was absolutely not fine? Yeah, that awkward chill in the air, that's passive-aggressive behavior saying hello. And today, we're diving into the psychology of passive-aggressive behavior, what it is, why people do it, and why it leaves everyone confused, annoyed, and replaying conversations in their head at 2 a.m. Let's start with the basics. Passive-aggressive behavior is when someone expresses anger, frustration, or resentment indirectly instead of openly. They don't say, "I'm upset." They say things like, "Wow, must be nice to have so much free time." Same message, different delivery, way more chaos. Think of it as emotional road rage, but with sarcasm, silence, and fake politeness. So why don't people just say what they feel? Because for a lot of people, direct anger feels dangerous. Some grew up in environments where expressing frustration led to punishment, rejection, or conflict, so the brain learned a clever workaround. Don't fight, don't explode, just leak. Passive aggression is emotion leaking out through side comments, tone, and behavior. It's not that the person doesn't feel angry, they feel it very strongly. They just don't feel safe showing it directly. And here's the thing that makes it tricky. Many passive-aggressive people don't even realize they're doing it. In their mind, they're being nice, or keeping the peace, or not causing drama. Meanwhile, everyone else is thinking, why does this conversation feel like I stepped on an emotional landmine? Let's look at some classic passive-aggressive moves. There's the silent treatment. Nothing says, "I'm upset," quite like responding with K and disappearing for 3 business days. Then there's sarcasm disguised as humor. "I'm not mad, I'm just joking," but somehow the joke only hurts one person. There's intentional forgetfulness. "Oh, was that important? I forgot." Again. And of course, fake politeness. Smiling, calm voice, polite words, with enough tension underneath to power a small city. Here's a simple real-life example. Imagine you and a friend agreed to meet at 6. You show up at 6:30. Your friend says, "No worries at all, I wasn't waiting or anything." That sentence should feel comforting. Instead, it feels like a threat. That's passive aggression in action. Now let's talk psychology. Passive-aggressive behavior usually comes from 3 main things. First, fear of conflict. Some people would rather feel misunderstood than risk an argument. Second, lack of emotional language. If you don't know how to say, "I feel disappointed," your emotions come out sideways. Third, power and control. Indirect behavior gives plausible deniability. If you call them out, they can say, "I didn't mean it like that." That's what makes passive aggression so frustrating. You feel something is wrong, but you can't quite point to it. It's like arguing with fog. And here's a wild part. Passive aggression often creates the very conflict it's trying to avoid. Instead of one honest conversation, you get tension, confusion, resentment, and emotional guessing games. Everyone loses. Now let's clear up a myth. Passive-aggressive people are not evil masterminds. Most of the time, they're overwhelmed, insecure, or emotionally exhausted. They want their feelings to be noticed without having to explain them. So they hint, they withdraw, they poke. They hope the other person will magically understand. Spoiler alert, that almost never works. So how does passive aggression affect relationships? It erodes trust. When communication becomes indirect, people stop feeling safe. They start overanalyzing every word, every pause, every tone shift. Suddenly, you're not having conversations, you're decoding signals, and that's exhausting. Over time, people either pull away or snap and explode over something small, like dishes or text messages. Now here's something interesting from psychology. Passive aggression is often a sign of unmet needs. The person wants something, respect, appreciation, boundaries, but doesn't feel allowed to ask for it. So instead of saying,
"I feel ignored" when you cancel plans last minute. They say, "Wow, you're so busy lately." Same feeling, different damage. Now let's talk about what not to do. If you confront passive aggression with aggression, things escalate. If you ignore it, it usually grows. The healthiest response is clarity. Simple, calm, direct clarity. Like saying, "Hey, when you said that, it sounded like something was bothering you. Are you upset?" Not accusing, not attacking, just opening the door. Sometimes the person won't walk through it, and that tells you something too. And if you recognize this behavior in yourself, first of all, congrats, that's awareness. Passive aggression is often a protective habit, not a personality flaw. The goal isn't to shame yourself, it's to build safer ways to express frustration. That means learning sentences like, "I feel frustrated when," "I need," "I was upset about." Uncomfortable? Yes. Powerful? Also yes. Because direct communication doesn't destroy relationships, avoidance does. Here's the irony. People use passive aggression to avoid rejection, but it often causes distance instead. They want connection, but their behavior pushes people away. And here's the part most people don't realize. Passive aggression is exhausting for the person doing it too. Holding things in, dropping hints, managing tone, pretending everything is fine. That's a full-time job. So if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling weird but not sure why, if you've ever thought, "That didn't sound rude, but it felt rude," if you've ever replayed a sentence wondering what it really meant, now you know. That wasn't in your head, that was passive aggression. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you stop taking it personally and start seeing it for what it is: a signal, a coping strategy, a sign, unspoken emotion. Because at the end of the day, most people aren't trying to hurt you. They're just struggling to say what they feel. And honestly, that's very human.